Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to Wizard World Week, where I am hoping to be able to do 2 Wizard World videos a day, Monday through Friday, and then get the new Fantastic Beasts video up on Saturday. Will I be able to make it through all that? I don't know, but that's the plan. So we're talking about Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone today. Before we get into that, let me talk a little bit about my history with Harry Potter. So the Harry Potter books started coming out when I was in late elementary school, early junior high school, somewhere around there. And in my town, when I was growing up, they were like, not banned, but pretty close to it. We had a lot of religious people in town who saw them as, pro-Satan and witches and witchcraft and magic and, it's bad. And so it was kind of a little bit taboo, which I guess kind of made it more interesting. So the first couple books kind of came and went, and I didn't really get into it. The 4th book came out, and I don't know why, but suddenly I was like, all right, let's check this out. And I'm not a big reader, but when the 4th book came out, I rented, is that the right word? Went to the library, rented the first book, and I blew through those first 4 books pretty quickly, at least quickly for me. And then I was like, all right, I'm excited. And I think somebody's going to know, and you can check the dates and tell me if I'm right or wrong. I think the first movie was either coming out or getting ready to come out, or maybe it was even just announced that there would be a movie. But I knew that I would want to see the movies when they came out, and I knew that I wanted to read the books before the movies came out. So that might have been what inspired me to start the books. Not 100%. So I read the first 4 books, was super into it, but then by the time the 5th book came out, I was over it. I was not interested anymore. I moved on to other things that I was more interested in. Now, timeline of books and movies aside, when the movies started coming out, I started going to see them because I was like, I've read that book, I liked it, right? So I'll go see the movie. So I went and saw the first 4 movies at the theater because those were the only books that I had read. And then I stopped going to see the new movies because I hadn't read the books. So for a long time, 4 books and 4 movies was all that I had seen. At some point, my brother was into them, and I think I watched the 5th one with him. Could have been that I watched it with some friends in college, but I know there was either the 5th one or the 6th one I watched with him. Didn't really pay that much attention. Couldn't really follow most of it because I hadn't read the book. And then I know at one point I was hanging out with one of my friends who was very much into the Harry Potter world. And I mentioned that I hadn't seen all of the movies. And she freaked out. And right then and there, she's like, we're going to finish them right now. So I can't remember. You'll have to let me know, Kathleen. I can't remember if we did 6, 7, and 8 because I had only seen the first 5. Or if I had seen up through 6, and so we only watched 7 and 8. But it was late when we started, so it was very late when we ended. I do remember that much. So I know I've seen them all, but I believe I've only seen them all once each. So this will be my first time rewatching any of them. I could be wrong. Some of the first couple I might have seen more than once, but I only remember watching them once each in the theaters. The other aspect of my experience with Harry Potter, and perhaps the reason that I fell out of it so quickly after getting into it, is that when I was in junior high school, I was much skinnier than I am now, and I had longer, shaggier hair, and I wore glasses. And that's enough when you go to a small middle school for you to be the kid that everybody compares to Harry Potter. So I was that kid that everybody called Harry Potter and made fun of and blah, blah, blah. And not like in a super mean way, but in the kind of way where you're just like, I'm over this franchise. So I think that's probably why I got disinterested in it so much, was because I was annoyed with that happening. And it's like, if you've got that happening and you're into the stuff and people know that you're into the stuff, it's just going to be worse. So I think I just left it all behind for a while. So here I am rewatching the movies. Now that all that preamble is out of the way, let me talk about Sorcerer's Stone. I'm going to try to not take notes as I watch the movies because I want to be focused on the movie. And I know there are tons of questions that other people have asked, and I'm sure there are lots of people that have answered those questions. So please feel free. If you're a Potter fan and I ask a question that you know the answer to, by all means, comment it below. Right? I'm not saying these questions as things that are rhetorical that I assume have no answer. I'm pretty sure somebody could answer all of my questions. I don't know the answers to them. So feel free to let me know in the comments. But Sorcerer's Stone, I feel like one of the things this does best is the world building. Because I feel like you're in it right away. It's a lot of show don't tell when it matters early on to get us in. But then there is a little bit of tell and explain, but not overly explaining. And so I know there's a lot of issues throughout the franchise with contradictions and like, well, they should have been able to do this because of magic, so why didn't they do that? I've heard people point those things out before, so I'm not going to try to do too much of that. That's just, to me, that's just a problem that you have to deal with when you're dealing with magic, right? Like, why do they only use the time turner for Hermione's classes? Why haven't they ever used that for anything else, right? It's just, when you're dealing with magic, that's going to happen. So I'm fine with that. I would say I had some questions out of this movie. And of course, now I can't remember what they are. With the Sorcerer's Stone, and maybe this wasn't explained more in the book, and I've just forgotten because that was so long ago that I read it. It seems unnecessary for it to grant eternal life and also turn everything to gold. And the part about it turning everything to gold doesn't matter in the plot of the story, at least not in the movie. And it's just like, that's like, when they explained it, that was the thing that my brain latched onto. So then later when they were talking about Voldemort once, I was like, why does he want it? And I had to go back and rewatch that scene, and I was like, oh, right, the elixir of life. So that just seems overly complicated. You got a lot of stuff going on in this movie, a lot of magic stuff. You don't need to overly complicate it. If he wants it for it giving eternal life, just keep it there. So is there a reason that the gold thing is important that I missed or that was in the book and not in the movie? Let me know. The other, I guess it's not a question, but the other big leap that I think this movie and this world takes and just expects people to go on is like, magic is real, right? Witches and wizards are real. That's the concept, right? That's the hook. That shouldn't automatically mean that mythological creatures are real. Like, dragons are real, Pegasus is real, trolls are real. Like, those things are not the same as magic, right? Those are just other things that, like magic, also don't exist. But it's like, does that mean Bigfoot exists? Does that mean the Loch Ness Monster exists? Does that mean, I can't, like, does that mean that anything that has lore about it exists? Does that mean that all the different pantheon of different gods exist? Like, magic is fine, right? Because that's what you buy into when you watch these movies, is that magic is real. But there's so many other things that are not real and are not magic that it's just a given in this movie that are real. And it's like, well, yeah, and it's like, it leans a little bit too heavy on fantasy tropes, like dragons and Pegasus and things like that, unicorns. And it's just like, but those aren't the same thing. Magic and mythological creatures are not the same thing. So it feels like those should have been treated differently. And when Harry is experiencing all these things, like, he's warming up to the idea of magic. He's warming up to the idea of all this other stuff. But then, like, he sees a dragon. And he's like, wait, these are real. Like, he has a reaction to the dragon, but just because they're rare, not because, holy cow, these things actually exist. Like, that's a different thing. And I feel like it could have been presented in a better way. All that said, what was the other thing I was going to say? I swear I just had it and I lost it. I'm going to pause and come right back. I got it. This was something that I said about the movies even as they were coming out. They do a really good job of making it feel timeless because there's not a whole lot of technology. There's not a whole lot of gadgets. There's not even a whole lot of electricity. The Hogwarts is lit by fire. They use lanterns. They dress in robes, so you're not stuck in the clothing of a time period. And that's something that rewatching this now, I'm like, this could take place today, not 20 years ago, whatever it was. So that is another thing that I think the movies did really, really well. Here's a question. What makes a broom faster? Because they've got the bit, obviously the Nimbus 2000 plays a role in this movie, and I'm just like, is it the brooms that are fast, or is it the magic of flying the broom that makes it fast? Right? How is the broom faster? Is that explained? Is that something that I read and now have forgotten about? What makes a broom faster? What makes one broom better than another broom? I don't understand. But we're gonna call it there, I think, for this video. The Potter movies are, I think I've kind of gone back and forth, and at some points in my life, I've been like, nah, I'm not into that, right? Just like trying to make it a point of pride. But they're not something that I've ever thought were dumb or stupid. So while I haven't ever rewatched them and I'm not a fan, I'm looking forward to rewatching them. I'm hoping that this is going to be mostly fun. I've heard not great things about the Fantastic Beasts movies, so I'm not really hyped to get to those. But I am going to enjoy watching through the Harry Potter movies. Another thing I remember saying, like, as the movies were going on, is that they did really well with their casting. I think a lot of it was luck that those children grew up to be also good versions of the older versions of those characters, because they could have gone very, very poorly. But I think the casting is really, really well done. So that's going to cap it for me on Sorcerer's Stone. Like I said, if you have answers to my questions, let me know. If you have other thoughts about this, let me know in the comments below. But those are my thoughts. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.